Welcome in, my possum friends. We are Offensive Points, brought to you by the Fantasy Six Pack channel, and today we are discussing the top 32 dynasty assets from each NFL team. Hit it. All right, friends, quick and easy. We're going to dive right into the best assets for each team. But first, we are going to discuss some fun news. And as always, I'm with Josh and Billy. Josh, Billy, we are Offensive Points. Hello, everyone. How are you tonight? What's up?
I was going to say hi, but I didn't want to piss you guys off or jump the gun or anything. I feel like I did last time. I want to talk about AI art right now. And we don't even need to talk about it. I just want to go ahead and get my feelings out there. I've seen way too many AI fan-prompted AI art about NFL best quarterbacks and best player of the year in 2026 through 2021 of all the best players or whatever. And there's always errors in the graphics, and they still post them because they don't either notice or care because people are too busy to even make graphic designs anymore. And as a person who does graphic design, it just drives me up a wall, man. Like, I just hate it.
Yeah.
Stop.
They call it slop. They call it slop. It's AI slop.
That's people are passing it as a graphic that they created or whatever. I mean, they're not saying it, but it's implied when you're posting it. Like, look at these people. It's so crazy. And there's like the top 12 quarterbacks of all time, and like Barry Sanders is in there. And I'm like, what? He's not. Anyway, that's just.
Society is determined by quantity. It's no longer quality. That shift happened several years ago. But
yeah.
That's why our pods are so long.
Yeah.
or we just ramble.
I'm just kidding. All right. Before we get to 32 teams, as Joe mentioned, we're going to talk about this Keon Coleman story. So during the press conference for the Buffalo Bills, there's an exit press conference with the GM and the owner, Terry Pegula. Terry decided to just throw the coaching staff under the bus, which he's already fired him, so fair enough. But he said that the GM did not want to draft Keon Coleman. He did not make that choice, that was a coaching staff that the GM was just being a team player for, basically just completely just destroying Keon Coleman in the process here because he's still on the team. He's not a free agent. So if I was Keon Coleman's agent, I'd be like, get me the hell out of here now. But like, I brought some video evidence that I saw on Twitter today that I kind of wanted to share with the audience. So this is the GM, Brandon Beane, right during the draft process, which involved Keon Coleman. This includes footage from the scouting combine. We're going to roll that real quick before you guys enter your thoughts on this.
Basically, when I went to bed that night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
All things considered. Rich, get the guy who's feels the best fit. Yep.
I know this might be obvious, but so tomorrow, who are we picking?
We're just going to keep trading more. We're going to get 14 fifths. Barring someone offering us something stupid, we'll take Keon Coleman.
I'll clarify, the voice you were hearing the majority of the time was Brandon Beane talking about how he wants
GM Brandon Beane, who in the press conference today, the owner said had little to no say on the Keon Coleman trade, that it was mainly the coaches that wanted him, not the GM. What do you guys feel after hearing that?
Well, there was also that video of him being like, thank God Keon Coleman ran a 4.5 because it'll be easier for us to get him. That was Brandon Beane also. So
yeah, I didn't hear Sean McDermott talk during that. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there was a conversation. Maybe Sean McDermott was the one who brought him up in the first place or whatever. But at the end of the day, there's been so many posts on Twitter and elsewhere that say, oh, wow, the Bills suck at drafting. And I guess the owner decided to say, because they've had like 2 Pro Bowlers or something. I don't remember the exact statistic, but 2 Pro Bowlers in the last 5 drafts. And it's James Cook and I don't remember the offensive lineman or something. And yeah, you're bad at drafting. I mean, your wide receivers, and I can't even say that it's Keon Coleman. I don't think Keon Coleman was a terrible draft pick, especially at the time. And when you sit him for 3 games, whether it's attitude or whatever it is, like, he didn't play a full season, and Josh Allen never throws to a number 1. Even Stephon Diggs, but that was the reason he left. So at the end of the day, it's like you're drafting a number 1 wide receiver for a team or a player or whatever coaching staff that doesn't want a number one wide receiver at the end of the day. So,
yeah, if Keon Coleman was 4 inches shorter, 30 pounds lighter, and simply ran little slants, they'd be all over him. He'd be the wide receiver one on this team for sure. But since he's an actual wide receiver that could produce on any other football team, we hate him. I don't get it.
I don't know why they hate him so much. I mean, I'm assuming there's some locker room issues with the fact that he got benched for 2 different games in the middle of the season. But at the end of the day, like, I don't really understand what's wrong with him. He looked fine. He didn't have a blow away rookie or sophomore season at this point, but it's not like he's dead in the water. Like, hate it.
I know Josh Allen's there. I don't know why any coach would want any part of this. Like, all this shows you is that the owner is going to take the side of the GM literally no matter what. Like, that's what that looks like to me, if I had to be completely honest. But I don't know. I guess we'll monitor that situation. But I don't know. I saw that and I was like, man, we got to talk about this because that's outrageous to hear an owner throw a draft, like the guy on the team currently, under the bus. Like, I can see if they cut him, then you start being like, okay, that was a huge mistake to draft him. The kid is on the team. Like, he's on year
2 more years
now. Like,
too.
that's outrageous to do that. Like, yeah, there's no way he's going to be on the team like this next year. There's no way, right? They're going to have to trade him. I don't see how he could want to play for that owner. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
There's been conversations of A.J. Brown going to the Bills. I'll take Keon Coleman on the Eagles. We already deal with the attitudes in the locker room anyway. Trade you one.
Yeah, definitely. He'll probably go to the Chiefs and be a Pro Bowler. All right. Let's get to the matter at hand. We are talking about all 32 teams, and we are going to go through the best dynasty asset on each team. Some of them have some really high guys that we're definitely going to, obvious. But some of these probably bar a little bit, need a little bit of discussion. I feel like it's good to kind of go through these rosters, figure out who is a high-value target on each team. So, that being said, we're going to go alphabetical order in terms of state. So, the first team is the Arizona Cardinals. Josh, we'll start with you because I know there's somebody near and dear to your heart on this team. Who would be your best dynasty asset on the Cardinals?
Well, it's going to be hard to say, honestly. I mean, the answer is obvious. It's going to be hard to say when or if this team is ever good because I saw a graphic that Trey McBride had the number 1 most trash time reception yards this year. So will that be the same if they're winning games? Probably, honestly. So it's Trey McBride. Love for it to be Marvin Harrison, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's Trey McBride. I'm very, I know we're not talking Lions, but Drew Petzig going to the Lions, I don't like the signing at all, but I love it for Sam Laporta because he's going to use the tight end. Any offensive coordinator that comes in there is going to continue to feed Trey McBride, and sorry, Marvin Harrison.
Yeah. I wanted to try to get a conversation about Marvin Harrison Jr., but let's just be honest. It's Trey McBride. He's going to be, tight end, if not 1, at least number 2 next season, depending on.
We don't even know if Marvin Harrison is wide receiver 1 on the team, so it's hard to say.
That's true. I know. We could have brought Michael Wilson into this.
It's Trey.
Yeah. I guess we will find out, but we're going with Trey McBride. Pretty easy one there. All right. Next one, Atlanta Falcons. Joe. I feel like this is easy. Apparently, Josh wants to have a conversation about it. Atlanta Falcons. Who do you got?
Bijan Robinson, man. Stefanski's going there. They have a decent offensive line. Bijan finally, Raheem Morris came in there and said, "Hey, let's use Bijan. He's our number 1." I know Arthur Smith was trying to use a mix of guys, but he just said, "Hey, Bijan's our wide receiver 1 or running back 1." And then we have Tyler Algier, who is a free agent and is probably not going to be there next year. So wheels up for Bijan.
So that's actually my biggest issue with Bijan being the number 1 on this, because if they do bring in a running back, whether it be a rookie or a veteran outside, because they're going to have 2 running backs, I'm worried of who that player is. And I'm not saying like they're going to go and draft, Jeremiah Love or anything, but they could go and get a, starter caliber running back as a number 2. Let's look at, Rico Dowdle or something as a number 2. And then I'm not saying that Bijan's still going to be Bijan. He's still great. But I feel like the argument needs to be made with Drake London. I agree it's probably just Bijan, but I feel like Drake London, the season he had this year and what he could have in the future, especially if Kyle Pitts is somehow not there. I assume they franchise tag him, but I feel like London could have a huge year next year. It could be wide receiver 1 on the season.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to go with Joe and say B-Rob, but I can see your opinion of Drake London. I just feel like
wheels turning up there. I swear.
I get it. I just feel like Stefanski getting there. It's just going to be, even if they have a number 2. I mean, even when it was Chubb and Hunt, you could play both of them. Like both of them were useful. So I don't, even if they unless they went crazy and got like Breece Hall or something, then I'd be like, what in the hell are we doing here? But like other than that, if it's like a Rico Dowdle, I think they both can eat and both be good assets. But Bijan,
I think
is the best.
I think the smart thing for them to do is just to re-sign Tyler Algier. Josh, I really like your Drake London take. I love Drake London. The only reason I don't have him, we don't know what's going on at quarterback with this team next year. And
I'm actually not worried
Stefanski hasn't been the best at producing wide receiver ones, but I mean, I had Drake London as wide receiver 1 this year. I had a fireball bet that I'm going to have to take. But, anyway.
Yeah,
I just feel like it needs to be a conversation at the end of the day. I didn't say it's true. Bijan's probably going to be the number 1 overall draft pick in fantasy next year. So hard to really make the argument full-heartedly, but just wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah, I hear you there. Okay. This next one is the first one I truly had a little bit of confusion about what we're going to do, but it's the Baltimore Ravens. I went with Zay Flowers, but I kind of hated it. I just think that he's the most like locked in person on the team. Like Derrick Henry's kind of old, so like taking him doesn't really feel like it's going to be right. All the running backs I have question marks about. Plus, they could bring someone in when Derrick Henry leaves. The tight end situation seems in flux, to be honest. I think it should be likely, but they just signed Andrews to an extension. And then Lamar, we don't know where the legs are at. Like if he brings back his legs full time, I mean, he could probably be the guy, but I don't know if I trust that either. So I went with Zay Flowers, but I'm open to hearing whatever you guys put differently.
It's Lamar. That's the only real person I want on this team, on any of my fantasy teams next year. I think honestly, he might even come at a discount because of what he did last year. I think the leg injury was definitely a hindrance of his points, but that is how he makes his money, and I don't think he's really worried about, obviously unless he gets injured again, I don't think that they're going to stop him from running. The design runs, sure, I think we had this conversation on a previous pod, but like the design runs might cut back a little bit, but when he has the opportunity to scramble out of the pocket, he is electric and he still gets those yards. So I think it's Lamar. I don't want any wide receiver on this team at the moment, and Derrick Henry could still be great again, but at some point you got to kind of cut over. Curious to hear what Joe says though.
I really wanted to say Lamar Jackson, but I can't. I'd chalk it up to injury this year. He is 30. He's going to be 30 next season, and I'm just a little worried that he's not going to be running like we're used to seeing. You take that away, he's kind of a mid quarterback. I think it's Zay Flowers personally because I like the talent that he has on this team. And if he does go somewhere else in the future, please, he'd be far better as a wide receiver. But he still gets you solid points. If I had Lamar in Dynasty, I don't, but I would be trying to move him this offseason on the name.
I see conversations of Lamar potentially getting traded as well, so that would answer our question as not putting Lamar as the best Dynasty asset on the Ravens, at least.
It's true. The last 300-yard game Lamar, was week 6 of last season, 2024. That's his last 300-yard passing game.
They also did not put a wide receiver together. If you're going to have this, and maybe that's the rebuild here for next year, you didn't add anyone besides DeAndre Hopkins last year and a couple late round wide receivers. You literally ran out the same roster you had last year, plus aging Hopkins and a couple okay young wide receivers.
They signed back Rashad Bateman and barely used him this season. It's like, why did you even bring him back? You could just let him go. It wouldn't have mattered.
Also, didn't even use the two tight ends that you have. There's a lot of missing passing options here. So
now we could have brighter days ahead, depending on what coaching staff comes in there. Because
I imagine they're going to invest in a wide receiver, the 1, 2 as well. So
that's true. Okay, well, me and Joe said Zay, so we're going to stick with that. But Lamar, I hear it. The next team is the Buffalo Bills. Josh, what do you got?
I mean, Josh Allen probably, but James Cook as well, because, you got top 5 running back. So I actually don't have an answer for this one. One of those two. I'll stick with the default for you guys. No one's even getting close to impeding James Cook's workload at the time being, so Ray Davis, unfortunately, was the end of they're going to use 2 running backs. So, yeah, James Cook or Josh Allen, whichever one you want.
I'm gonna go Josh Allen just because he is 29. You're gonna get 7 more years of elite production out of him at least. He's just kind of entering his prime.
Aging running backs. Is James Cook at 25 this year?
He's 26. He's 26.
Oh, he's already too.
I love James Cook. I'm fine with James Cook. I just think Josh Allen gives you such an advantage at quarterback.
No, that's fair. Yeah. I didn't think about that from a dynasty perspective. Yeah, you're right, Josh Allen.
This is why we need. I wish we had somebody who had clips that we could just pull up, because I would love to hear what Joe was saying about James Cook last year when he did turn 25. Because I bet there was some not I love James Cook stuff in there. But that's fair. I'm going with Josh Allen too, just because of the longevity, and you're probably at least getting a QB1 for the next 5 years at least. I mean, he might drop a little bit, but you're getting a dude. Yeah. So next team is the Carolina Panthers. Joe, who you want on the Panthers?
Ted. He's pretty cool. Bryce is obviously not going to turn him into a superstar wide receiver, but I think brighter days are ahead. And we saw a couple, 150-yard, 2 touchdown games from him this year. I only think we see more of that in the future.
The most interesting dynasty asset on this team is Jonathan Brooks. Now, I cannot say he's the best dynasty asset because we'll see after the two injuries. I want it to be Jonathan Brooks because I own him in every dynasty league I'm in. So little biased, can't say. But honestly, I'm worried about Coker, man. We saw some cokeheads unite at the end of the year, and he is a potential to be better than Ted potentially. If we saw that pace, for an entire year,
okay.
I'm just saying. Ted was barely used in the end of the season. It wasn't looking great. It was we saw mid-season form for Ted was amazing, and then fell off a cliff. Love to see more of it. Probably Ted though at the end of the day, but I just never know. Who knows who else they bring in too?
Okay. I'm kind of right down the middle. I think Ted McMillan is the guy, but I could hear Jalen Coker. I don't know about him being better, but as useful, maybe. He's definitely going to draw the number one on each team.
I wouldn't mind trading Ted in the offseason if I had him.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Depends on
target share alone, I think makes him. And this is with the worst version of this team that they're going to have for the next couple of years. I think was this year, so I could see him taking a step up.
I can't remember what we called our trade sandbox or whatever we were doing. That show will be fun because I feel like we could put Ted in there and see who we would want for it.
Oh, we were going to do Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. Sorry, I couldn't remember what we called it. Got this tech lingo in my brain. I just feel like because Ted, the hype on him right now is better than the actual product. And yes, it could happen, but it has not yet. We've gotten okay Ted so far. I'm not saying trade him, don't do that, but I think if you can get something better out of him, I think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see the thought there. I would say people are more sour on Tet now than they were a couple, 6 weeks ago. I don't know. I'm interested because there's no one at free agent at wide receiver, and I think Jalen Coker is actually going to have a decent market unless they re-sign him before he hits it. So it could just be the touch show next year.
Maybe get through free agency, but I don't know. I'm just thinking Roma Dunze last year, his value was through the roof and he did nothing.
True.
And then he did great in the first 5 games, and the value probably even went up. And then end of the season checked out. Obviously there's an injury as well, but prior to that, he was doing terrible. So I know we'll get there, but just saying, I don't think it's the worst idea.
Okay. With Ted as well. Chicago next on the list. I actually will make the case. I think it's Luther Burden. I love the way that he was used towards the end of the season. I know the beginning of the season he was just kind of getting worked in there, but I think Ben Johnson's found his little toy that he's going to use for this offense for the next 4 or 5 years. And I think that just the rushes, the quick passes, I just think he's going to explode, and he's going to be, I wouldn't say a Monroe St. Brown, but in that.
I actually think as kind of a combination of a Monroe and J-Mo. I feel like him and Jameson Williams, he's got that deep route ability, and then he's got that short route ability and the little run screens and all the little stuff. Yeah, if used properly, I can see that. I'd personally go with Colson Level and just think he might end up being
That was the other option. This team's actually a good one, a good discussion for this. So, Joe, as the Bears fan here, break the tie or present a third option.
Kyle Monungai.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I do think. Yeah, no, Monungai honestly is a bell cow, and he should be trying to acquire him because if something were to happen to Swift next year, or they move on from him, seems unlikely next year, but possibly in the future. I think Kyle Monungai is your dude. But I love that you said Luther Burden, Billy. I have such high hopes for him, but I think DJ is there to stay, and I think Rome. He was a top 10 pick. I think he's going to be there too. It's Colston Loveland. The dude just absolutely from week 12 on, he was tight end 3. And then he could have had a monster game in that playoff game, but it's 2 degrees. He dropped a couple passes there. He's a rookie. I think the connection with him and Caleb is extremely strong. And I think at the tight end position, you're looking at a top 5 guy for the next 6-7 years.
The fact that he did it with Cole Kmet on the field a lot too. I don't have the percentage in front of me, but like Cole Kmet was out there running routes almost the same amount as Loveland in the beginning part of the season. And then Loveland got the job, like clearly.
Fair enough. I watched Ben Johnson use Laporta. I'm glad that y'all are going to fall into the same trap. So I'm just kidding. Well, I think it's a little different here. There's a different scenario. Okay, Colston Loveland. That's fine. Cincinnati. Are we moving off Jamar Chase, Josh? Or you think it's something else? Chase Brown, maybe?
Chase. No, it's one of the Chases, but
which Chase?
It's definitely the Jamar one. I was gonna do it if you didn't let me. But yeah, no, it's Jamar Chase. Even with the down year, I mean, it was not his fault. He didn't have Joe Burrow for the majority of the year. He's clearly one of the best wide receivers in the league. And yeah, I mean, having any good backup behind Joe Burrow, I think would be a good option for Cincinnati. Maybe that should be a target in the offseason for them. Quarterback, that is.
Yeah.
It's Jamar Chase. 100%.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be pretty easy. I don't even think if Joe Burrow was there, like if Joe Burrow was to leave and they got a random person in there, I think we could still have a wide receiver 1. So yeah, it's Jamar Chase.
It's wild to me that teams don't have good backups. I mean, like we saw this year how fast the quarterbacks fall apart after injuries and stuff. Like bring Philip Rivers out of retirement for Indy, and it's like there's no other options.
Well, shit, some of these teams don't even have good starters, so much less have a good backup.
Fair enough.
All right, Joe. Cleveland Browns present an interesting challenge here. What do you think about the Browns?
Oh, I hate the Browns. I've been on record saying I hope that Deshaun Watson is your quarterback next year because it's the only one that's going to give you any sort of chance of doing anything on this team. I'm going to make the case for Harold Fannin. I'm not 100% sold on it. I'm like 51% here. But I really like what we saw out of Harold Fannin. He can be used as kind of that, tweener between tight end and wide receiver. And they seem to like him, definitely use your red zone weapon on this team. I like Harold Fannin a lot. I don't think they're going to, the Njoku contract, we'll see. I think he's a free agent. But if you go with 100% Fannin with how hard tight ends are to come by, I think he's your dude.
I didn't even think about Fannin when doing this, but I'm going to stick with my guns here because I think it's Judkins. I mean, this team drafted so well last year that they have 2 rookies as an option as their best dynasty asset. Judkins as a running back. Running backs are hard to come by. If you ended up getting him in a draft, I think you're going to be happy. I think everyone was kind of worried about the whole Sampson. There's lots of splits. Judkins had a kind of a down year in the middle of the year, but at the end of the day, he missed the first game and was suspended all preseason, didn't get to practice, and just jumped in and looked great. Now imagine that with hopefully a good head coach and like actually some people who like care about him and gets to do the whole offseason program. I think that's going to be super helpful for him. Hopefully he comes back from that injury decently.
Yeah, I picked Judkins as well, but I am not going to lie. I'm a little concerned about the coach because if we get in here and it's a passing, high-flying thing, then, we might get Judkins sparingly. But, again, I'd rather just wait. I'm pushing my chips into, like, he's a good running back, and they're going to have to work around him being the good part of the run game rather than that. But
so they don't have a quarterback, even though they have all the quarterbacks.
I know. They've tried everything. Maybe they should just not have a quarterback. Have they ever thought of that? Just not pay one, save all that money, get a beefed up O-line, a couple good running backs, and just run like Wildcat the whole game or something.
I still don't think they can even get rid of Deshaun Watson yet without destroying their franchise even further.
I don't think so.
I don't know when that is, but it's looking bad.
Yeah. All right. Dallas Cowboys are next. I think it's CeeDee Lamb. I could hear if Pickens was going to be there for sure. I would probably at least make an argument for him, maybe because of the connection they had. Prescott's 32. I don't love that as far as like dynasty wise. So I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb for the time being based on the contracts they have.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because like you could make the conversation for Javonte if he had a contract.
I know. Exactly.
He's still young, 23, 24. Still got time in there, and I assume it's a 3-year contract or something along those lines. So that could be huge for your dynasty team. CD definitely had the down year, but it's hard to overtake him. I mean, I don't see how they pay Pickens and a running back. So Javonte is probably gone, or Pickens is gone, and then pay Javonte. I don't know. I feel like they're going to have some difficult decisions over the offseason. So I go Lamb as well.
Yeah, it's Lamb. I think they're going to try to franchise tag Pickens. He's not going to play on the franchise tag, and it's going to turn into a monster of a situation there. CeeDee Lamb is the better wide receiver of the two. I mean, I know last year didn't look like it. He is way more talented than George Pickens, and it will go back to CeeDee Lamb.
I just didn't love some of the games CD had because it was like, man, it feels like he's quitting on routes. Like some of them, just the drops were like perplexing because you're just like, what are you doing? You are not this guy.
I've never seen him drop a ball before this year.
I know. Like it's just like, what are we doing? Like I don't understand what's going on here. But yeah, I think it's CeeDee Lamb until further notice. Josh, the Denver Broncos. Who are we keeping?
I'm not gonna lie. This is probably one of the tougher ones for me. I probably RJ Harvey by default, but I don't love it. I didn't see enough that I loved about RJ Harvey this year. The pass catching usage was probably the best part of it because he at least made up for some of those points when he had a down yardage game running wise. But I almost want to make the argument for Bo Nix. I feel like he's getting better each year. He's young enough to where he's not going anywhere, especially if they somehow win a Super Bowl this year or get close enough. I mean, or even if they lose, I mean, he brought them this far. So wide receivers room is completely out. I don't want any of them on my team. I mean, it's fun if one of them hits, but at the moment it's not any of them except for sort of Sutton. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to go Nix personally. I think there's some upside here. Should be at least a QB1 for years to come. Definitely a little hit and miss here and there, though.
Yeah, I also had Bo Nix. I don't think RJ Harvey's it. He might be your passing down guy, but I don't think you're going to see his role really evolve into a bell cow. So give me Bo Nix.
Bo Nix as well. I was really hoping a wide receiver would try at least make some strides in the season to make it seem like, okay, that guy is good. And we saw some things from Troy Franklin. We did see some things from Pat Bryant. But nothing to make me think.
Place. It was Troy Franklin.
Exactly. It felt like it was like a tag team situation. Like you do this week. Oh no, I'll get this week. No worries. And it's like, no, can't do that. So yeah, it is Bo Nix, but I'm open to listening if they get anything on this team new. I would love to hear about that from Sean Payton.
If they got a true wide receiver one, Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, I don't know who's all. JJ's been thrown around as a trade bait at the moment. Like, if they got one of them, I mean, clearly those are probably number ones on most of their teams, but, man, this team would be so fun.
True. All right, Joe.
George Pickens is going to look good in Denver.
That would be awesome.
Jahmyr Gibbs is the number one player in Detroit. He's 23 years old now, I think. Absolute monster. And then getting Drew Petzing in there, they're going to try to run the ball. That is a run-first offense 100% of the time. You have a quarterback who is not mobile. Jared Goff, I think he did have a rushing touchdown this year, but he's not taking anything away from Gibbs. And we got to see how the Monty situation plays out, but Jahmyr Gibbs is a monster.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard because, Amon-Ra and Gibbs are so close to each other. I feel like the edge just goes to Gibbs because of the run and pass option. And the way they were using them this year where they just completely forgot about Montgomery or intentionally didn't use Montgomery, I don't know the answer to that. Gibbs was just going off. But, man, it's hard to not say Amon-Ra because he is one of the best players in the league. And it's just the 13 catches a game, 13 targets a game, 10 catches. It's just wild.
It's definitely an embarrassment of riches, and I'm honestly still shocked that it's working. There's two guys to cover on the team, and they still
every once in a while a team gets them.
That's true. Well, I'm always shocked when Amon-Ra or even Puka, but Amon-Ra is just running wide open. I'm like, there's one dude There's one guy like that. One person cannot be wide open, and yet still let him do it every week. It's crazy.
So the crazier thing is 3-4 years ago, it was Cooper Kupp who was doing that. And like looking at like Amon-Ra and Puka, you're like, yeah, okay, well that makes sense. They're athletic freaks, like they're really fast. It makes sense. Cooper Kupp was just a dude out there, and he was always wide open. And I never understood it. It was like 30 yards every time he touched the ball. I'm like, how?
Yeah. Definitely wild, but I'm with Joe. It's Gibbs, but man, what an embarrassment of riches to have two of those guys on
either or could finish as the number one in fantasy, is Amon-Ra or Gibbs at the end of the day.
So, I wouldn't argue if you guys said Amon-Ra, but I
thought about it, but just the running upside and then the passing game work that Gibbs was getting this year, which it was high last year, but this year it was like he got like 7 straight targets or something like that. I think it was against the Eagles. No, it wasn't the Eagles. I don't remember who they were playing, but I was playing against Gibbs that day, and I got to watch him catch like fucking 20 points in like a quarter. And I was just like, I don't know what's to do here.
Yeah. I am worried about that offensive line though. Because who's the other guy that's considering retirement now? He's like their other
Ragnow?
Not Penei Sewell, but is it Ragnow? One of the guys is one of their dudes is talking about retiring now. So I am very worried about that offensive line, but I think it's still Gibbs.
They also need an offensive coordinator, not Dan Campbell. Please. All right. We're moving on to the land where they don't have any number one clear option. That's Green Bay Packers. I am going to take a weird one off the board, or maybe it's not going to be weird, but I think I'm going to take Tucker Kraft. I just don't like the two-ness of everyone on this team. And when Tucker Kraft was cooking with Jordan Love, I don't see how that guy isn't going to be a star for the next couple of years, barring a major injury like he got this year. Josh Jacobs is 28. I think it's going to tail off. It already felt like this year that like he wasn't exactly who you wanted him to be, but I do think that he's a free agent, I'm pretty sure. Didn't we discuss that already?
I don't think he is. I think he's got more year.
Okay. Well, either way, I'm sticking with Tucker Kraft. I think at the tight end position, he could be like Colson Loveland, top 5 guy next couple of years here. Tight end position has a bright future, it looks like.
The Josh Jacob usage made no sense to me. And like I know they were like saving him for playoffs or whatever it was, because like against Baltimore when Derrick Henry was just running all over the Packers, they wouldn't use Jacobs. He had 4 carries for 3 yards. And it's like, why wouldn't you just be like, hey, we need to eat some clock too? Especially when it wasn't a blowout. Like it wasn't a blowout till like halftime. Wild that they didn't try that. But I love Josh Jacobs. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he's getting older. Hard to say the number one. I like Tucker Kraft. I think he could be the top 5 tight end. But at the end of the day, there's so many options, and he was great while a lot of options weren't there. So I think I'm just going to go Jordan Love, honestly, as the number one here. I know it wasn't the best year for him, but at the end of the day, these kind of teams where they spread the ball around to all these elite players, like I almost went Caleb for if Colson Loveland didn't do what he did the last 5-6 games, I wouldn't pick Loveland. I'd pick Caleb, just because with all these weapons, it doesn't seem like there's a clear-cut favorite. I personally, it looked like Colson Loveland, then it looked like Christian Watson. The Jaden Reed came back, and then it was just a headache for every fantasy manager. So I'm gonna go with Love, honestly. Just like you said, Jacobs can't do it forever. Love's gonna have to. So,
man, I love both of those. You're both right. I'm gonna throw Josh Jacobs in there just because I think that knee injury, whatever happened to him. Like, because from week 1 through week 9, he was on an absolute tear at the running back position. Something happened. He took that injury, and then they started, let's keep him fresh and that whole nonsense. I do think he was banged up a little bit, too, by the end of the season. So, I don't know. I think Josh Jacobs, if you're on a contender, is an awesome target to get you into the playoffs and get you, hopefully, a championship. I'd be trying to trade for Josh Jacobs if I was a contender. But I totally understand wanting to ship him off your team. It's like we're right on the edge, right?
Yeah,
but
this is the time where you're still getting value for what he is as a player. So yeah, no, completely understand. But I don't. Josh Jacobs could play 3-4 more years, and I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, He's got the Adrian Peterson build. He's got speed and still got power. I mean, he's kind of jack of all trades.
I just don't know if it's going to be with the Packers. I don't know. That's the only thing that I'm hanging up. But again, it's him as a whole, and he is on this team currently. So, I mean, I guess I could see that. I just want to back up to Josh's point about Jordan Love. At what point do they blame Jordan Love for the fact that all these wide receivers suck? Like, they keep getting wide receivers, and mind you, we've all had our question marks about everyone that they've gotten for him so far, other than maybe Jaden Reed. But all of the other ones we've had question marks about. At what point is it like maybe this is Jordan Love's fault that this is happening? Like, when does that happen?
Well, he was the golden boy this year. He was the next Bart Starr, the next Aaron Rodgers. Next year, if they fail in a similar fashion, I think he'll be okay. I think the year after that's when they're going to start having that conversation.
Okay. I just don't trust him at all.
The hate on Jaden Reed makes no sense to me. That man went for 2 1,000-yard seasons in a row and then was injured most of the year and actually looked pretty good coming back. I was quite shocked.
Yeah, he's the only one I don't have a question mark, but we've had multiple discussions about Watson, Dubs. Golden disappeared through most of the season.
Honestly, you know what I'm most interested in is seeing when these players leave the Packers. Like when that, and that might be like the opportunity to try to trade for Christian Watson the year before he leaves. I know he's probably the most pricey out of all of them. Jaden Reed's pretty free in fantasy football. I don't think anyone wants to buy Jaden Reed. Like, I want to see him on another team, like with a good quarterback preferably, but even as like the number 1 or number 2. And like, I mean, think about all these teams that we've gone over that like have 1 wide receiver. 2 wide receivers at best.
Yeah.
Like, these guys have 6 and they're like burning Jaden Reed into the bench.
Oh, just wait. They'll be Miami Dolphins before too long, since they hired a GM from Green Bay and hired the defensive coordinator from Green Bay. I'm sure a couple of these guys are going to be wearing Miami Dolphin colors.
Yeah, the Wickses, Dubs, and who's the other guy? Heath. That guy will be going to that team for sure.
Yeah. Malik Willis, shoot. I mean, he might be down
Willis
there. Who knows?
Actual viable starter at this point with the
quarterback. Well, I know. I'm just saying, like, I think all these guys are for it. Okay, well,
I'm interested to see if these wide receivers are good outside of the Packers, even, at the end of the day.
We're just going to put a split vote for Green Bay because, let's be honest, truthfully, heart of hearts, I don't know if any of these guys are great dynasty assets going forward. However, with our split vote, I think that tells you all you need to know about what's going on in Green Bay right now. All right, Josh. Houston Texans, who or do you feel best about keeping from here on out?
I know the obvious answer is Nico, just because he's great and has been great. But I want to say Higgins, Jaden Higgins, just because what he showed in that end of the season, even postseason run there, he just looked like he was Stroud's favorite. I mean, Nico's kind of one-dimensional, sadly. Like, it's deep ball or nothing, it's deep slant or nothing. Jaden Higgins was doing it all. Now, I'm a little worried about what that means next year when everyone gets healthy and they have 6 wide receivers on this team. If Tank Dell plays next year, I know that the knee's been, completely torn.
So he's coming back.
I mean, I assume he will at some point at the end of the day. I don't know if it's day 1 or not. I know, Joe, you hate people that tear their knee open. But no, Jaden Higgins, I think, is a really interesting fantasy asset. I don't know if he's the best one to have, but at the end of the day, I feel like the future is bright here because I don't really care if Stroud is there for the long term or if he isn't, because he's got a contract that needs to be paid soon, and he sure didn't earn it in the postseason. So.
Who in the world? Oh, never mind. We're not going to do this right now. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, you're good. Josh, I love your argument on Higgins. It's really interesting.
The future wide receiver.
I think you're right. I'm just going to say Nico. The only thing is he's frustrating as hell because CJ Stroud is frustrating as hell. So it's not the running backs. Dalton Schultz got injured, I think, pretty decently in that playoff game.
I don't think
I haven't heard any
really on the conversation.
Well, shoot. So what CJ Stroud did to Cade Stover, Cade Stover needs to sue CJ Stroud for the injury that he got in that game.
Maybe that's who I'm
hospital
thinking
ball of all hospital balls. Maybe an ambulance ball. I don't even know what.
I'm pretty sure Schultz got injured too, though. I think they got all.
Oh yeah, he was out too. He was out too.
Yeah. The only thing with Nico Collins is, one play and he got you your week's worth of points. So
that was always really nice.
Nico.
That's true. Josh, I'm actually agreeing with you. My vote was for Jaden Higgins on this team. I just really like what I think he's going to end up being for this team. Even when Tank Dell comes back, I don't think that it's going to eat into his workload.
Well, I think by the time Tank Dell is officially back, Nico's gone, right? Or somewhere else at that point. I don't know what the contract is.
Christian Kirk's gone, so if theoretically they could do Nico Higgins
Kirk was
and then
better than we thought. By the way. Joe had a whole offseason take on Christian Kirk, and I thought that was wild at the time. But Christian Kirk looked great the last couple weeks.
Yeah, too bad he got injured. So, just real quick, if you guys have Nico, what are you willing to take for Nico? Because he's viewed a lot of places as top 10.
Secretly, it wouldn't be as high as a lot of people say. I know I have Nico in a league that you both are in, so this is like kind of showing my cards a little bit. But like, it wouldn't be as much. It wouldn't be as much as people probably think. I think it would be lower than most people would probably take. I still want like a first round pick though. That's the thing. Like, I still want something to recoup the value because I'm giving away him. I would also need something, maybe not a number 1 wide receiver, but at least a wide receiver 2.
What I would want is a wide receiver with hope and promise,
like Jaden Higgins, probably. Like I would take Jaden Higgins in like a first,
and something else for sure. But like I was thinking, like Luther Burden, a Dunze. A Dunze is probably actually trade value wise. That's probably actually relatively even. I don't know if I'd buy that for Nico, but just saying, like I'd want a wide receiver that's younger that isn't proven yet.
Yeah.
Like even actually, you know what? This would be a great conversation for Ted. Ted for Nico.
Yeah. That would be a good one. What about Garrett Wilson?
I don't think the Garrett Wilson person trades it. I think that's.
I would take Garrett.
Honestly, what I'm scared about is I think they're like Spider-Man memes right now because I think Garrett Wilson's also in a shitty quarterback situation, which is exactly what Nico Collins finds himself in now because CJ Stroud, woof, dog. What are we watching out there? I texted the group chat. I'm just like, man, this would make me have a stroke watching CJ Stroud with some of these decisions because it's like it's rookie stuff where he's fumbling the ball backwards or he's throwing dumb passes where it's like, brother, the only one that can catch that's the defense. Why are you letting go of that? Take the sack. So, I mean, we're going to have to put up with that. But
one of my old buddies from high school is a Houston Texans fan, so I had to go look at his social media. It was just as funny as you'd think it'd be as a Texans fan.
That defense was a Super Bowl caliber defense. All you needed was
literally
a
were better off punting. They could punt on first down and they'd have a better chance to score than CJ.
Yeah, Will Anderson might as well be an offensive player with how many times he could probably sack and forced a fumble in the same play. Yeah, that's frustrating. By the way,
here's one I really like, and we can move on.
All right, go for it.
Marvin Harrison. I would be trying to trade Nico for Marvin Harrison. I think you can make. I think it.
I don't think I would do it with Nico, but I hear other people that would want to do that.
Other people, I think, would do it.
I don't think the Marvin Harrison manager would do it.
I think they're holding diamond hands too a little bit, but as the Nico person, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it for Harrison?
I'd be already have one headache, Joe. I don't need to swap that headache out for a second headache.
I wouldn't do it without knowing who's playing quarterback on that team.
Yeah.
I would do it either way. I mean, they're getting a new coaching staff in there, and anyone with a pulse is going to be able to throw it to Marvin Harrison. Oh, Drew Petzing is trash. I'm worried about the Lions. Dude. Dan Campbell's going to be taking over play calling by half the season.
All right. Anyway, this is going. We're moving backwards, guys.
That's fine. Okay. Anyway, I just want to note before we move on that they did say that they're not sure that Joe Mixon's going to be playing football next season either. That foot injury must be gruesome if he's literally off this entire season and they're already talking about maybe not him playing next season either. That's not good. Not bueno at all. I really feel bad.
The fact that there was no report ever, we just kind of knew that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's playing again.
Well, I feel bad for him because, man, that last year, it was so much fun watching him rejuvenated with that good Houston Texans team for just like his career possibly to end like that. Just very disappointing because this team could have really been good. All right, we spent way too much time on the Texans, but it's actually a good team to talk about. So let's move on to Indy. Possibly interesting. Go.
Oh, man, it's JT. I like JT a lot. He's going to be the focal point of this team, especially with the quarterback issues on there. You can make the case for Tyler Warren.
I
wanted somebody to make it. I wasn't going to because
I thought about it. Yeah, I thought about you. I didn't want to be that guy. I mean, do you get a longer term probably with Warren, right? But like what we saw from Warren in the fall off, even pre-Daniel Jones injury, like he was like the dude at first, and then Daniel Jones got comfortable, and he was just slinging it. And then all of a sudden, Warren was just kind of a 10-point guy, which is fine at the end of the day, tight end especially. But and Warren could have a huge rejuvenation, especially if this wide receiver does vacate, Alec Pierce or whoever ends up a free agent and leaves. So Yeah, I think it's still JT. That means he's also an AP type player who could play for 5-6 more years, longer even.
Talk about a fall off though. That was rough.
True. Taylor.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
Lost me a couple weeks, I'll tell you what.
It was Germany or whatever he went. Was it Spain?
It was
Germany? Whichever one. After that week,
Germany.
it was all downhill. Okay, let's move on to Jacksonville. I'm just going to go Jacoby Myers. He just signed a 3-year contract in 2025. I really liked what he showed with Trevor Lawrence towards the end of the season. I really wish wholeheartedly that was Brian Thomas Jr., but there's clearly something off there. I don't know what that means going forward, but I would love for him to come back to pace. But I do know what we're getting floor-wise with Jacoby Myers. So weirdly enough, that's who I'm going with based on who's on the team right now.
Speaking of a Nico Collins trade, Brian Thomas would be an interesting person to trade for.
That would be that. Yeah, that would also be interesting. I'd probably
still got that like hope that once season 1 comes back, and its value is probably still stupid high. And
right. Well, plus I think if he ended up on a different team, he would be a lot better. I think it's the Trevor Lawrence effect with this one.
Well, and now we got 4 wide receivers on this team. So
yeah,
assuming in part.
Anyway, I'm going Jacoby. I think I'm going Jacoby.
I'm actually going to go with Etienne. I know he's a free agent at the moment, or whoever the starting running back is on this team, whether it's in the draft or free agency. I think that's who the best person on this team is, dynasty-wise, because I think this team needs a run game to go forward. And honestly, if Parker, Jacoby, Travis Hunter's running routes too, and Brian Thomas, I don't really want part of that wide receiver dump. And not dump because they're honestly probably the best wide receiver room in the NFL, honestly. But I'm personally going Etienne or whoever the running back is, as long as it's not just Bishal Tootin and LaQuinn Allen, assuming they make a move or pay Etienne.
I like it. I want to make the case for Brian Thomas, but Mac Jones is not there and Trevor Lawrence doesn't know his name. It is Etienne because even if Etienne goes somewhere else, he is going to be an absolute monster. Wherever he goes, the dude's a good running back. I do want the Liam Cohen running back. That's going to be a huge talking point if Etienne does leave. But they could resign him. If that's the case, I want him on my team. Top dynasty asset. If he goes somewhere else, top dynasty asset. I think it's Etienne.
Be funny if he brought in Rashad White. It'd be funny if he was like, you know what, Rashad White, let's run it back. Even though he's the one that technically benched Rashad White, Liam Cohen. So maybe not.
Did you see Rashad White throwing shots at Todd Bowles?
I didn't, but I love that.
Yeah. He hasn't even been I mean, I'm assuming he knows he's not going to be back there, but he was like, yeah, they need a defense. They need someone else to call the defense, not Todd Bowles. And
I feel like the defensive players themselves would probably say that. That's funny. All right. Next one up is Kansas City Chiefs. Josh, who is it from the Chiefs?
Patrick Mahomes. I don't know who else to pick.
How bad this roster is.
Nagy's gone, right? I was hearing that the enemy might come back as OC, so I was like, oh, I guess Nagy's fired. Didn't ever look that up, but I just saw it right now.
I cannot believe he's legitimately getting head coaching opportunities. I'm like, what do you all need to see? What do you need to see? He destroyed the Bears. They're now in the make it in the NFC playoffs. And then they've gone to the Chiefs, and now they're not in the playoffs. So, like, what more do we need to see here?
I don't know. So the enemy comes back. That's amazing. But, it's Patrick Mahomes mainly because this Rice stuff doesn't seem to be ending. Like, it seems like this is going to be a cycle. Like, at this point, it's not a coincidence. Like, he's just going to do stupid shit, unfortunately. Worthy never was really worthy. Kelsey's obviously aging. Might not even come back next year. And running back doesn't exist. I would say maybe whatever, if they go get, obviously the clear answer is if Jeremiah Love goes there, that's who you pick, but he's currently not there. So, it's Patrick Mahomes at the current moment.
It is Patrick Mahomes. And Eric Bieniemy we had him as a running backs coach, which is just crazy to me. So, good luck in Kansas City, sir. I cheer for you.
Well, he was there once.
The running game worked a lot better when he was there.
Right. He was there once, and it was awesome. So I can hope that we just go back to right where we left off, hopefully, with them. I would love to say Rashee Rice, but this dude just keeps doing the most boneheaded things every offseason. So, how can you possibly trust him to be cool? I bet everybody that wore those free Rashee Rice shirts feel awesome about that when they wear those week 1 or whatever.
Free 4.
Free 4. Great shirts, guys. Hope you break those out again when he gets suspended this offseason.
That's one of those ones that goes in the back of the closet and you kind of forget about it, and then you see it later and you're like, ooh, I shouldn't have worn that.
I have a Kanye West for President 2020 shirt in my closet. Back when it was a joke in 2016 or something like that. I have it in my closet. And I'm like, boy, what a divisive shirt that would be to wear out right now.
Yeah. And this is his second, Rashee Rice, his second personal conduct thing. If this escalates further, which I assume it will, that's not going to be good.
No.
At all. No.
Commissioner's exempt list. Here we come. And then it's just like, who the hell knows when he's going to play?
Yeah, this is at least a year if anything comes of this, which it seems like it will.
I feel like it's going to be like 8 to 12 games and it's going to be pled down to like 6. But I'm just like, how many chances do you give this dude to not do the
I mean, I know Josh Gordon's was over drugs, but like they didn't give Josh Gordon after he had his second and third. It was years of time. So like I can see it being like, hey, this is your second in 2 years. Like, no, yeah, you're out for this year. And then the Chiefs are really back to the drawing board.
Yeah, definitely so. Okay, well, it's Patrick Mahomes. We'll go with that, even though we're not even clear that he's going to be playing next season. However, he's still at his Eric Bieniemy is the number one quarterback with all of those factors. All right, Joe, we're giving you a decent task here. The Las Vegas Raiders. Which of the two guys do you want?
It's Genty. I love Bowers, I really do, but I mean, Genty was a top 5 pick. They're going or a top. He was at 8, top 10 pick. That offensive line is going to get better. That offense, whoever comes in there, again, we could have done a better job coaching that offense than Pete Carroll this year. That was crazy. So I think Ashton Genty, he is who we thought he was as a running back. We saw it a couple times. If we could just get a draft pick in there, get Mendoza in there, get the line beefed up a little bit, I think it'll be awesome. Wheels up.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna either sign a veteran wide receiver, like they'll sign a veteran receiver, whether it's the best, a really good one, or they'll draft a good wide receiver, one or the other. They sign a veteran receiver, or trade for one, whatever they do. Then they draft a 3rd, 4th round guy too, and then vice versa. If they sign a okay veteran receiver, they're gonna draft a wide receiver high.
The ghost of Tyreek Hill reunites with Mike McDaniel.
That's honestly possible. I don't know. Wait, McDaniel's not on the Raiders.
Oh, my bad. I skipped the Chargers.
Okay. All right.
My spelling was wrong.
Fair enough. Okay. I was just like, I don't think that's true. No, yeah, I think it's Genty as well. Just I think this offense just gets better as a whole. Genty actually has lanes to run through. It's got to be. I mean, Bowers is still a great asset, but I think Genty's going to have a huge second year.
Yeah, it's Genty. I like Bauer. Like it could be either or. I just would. Hopefully, we can get back over the hump with a new quarterback, new coach, new offensive coordinator, new O-line, new wide receiver core. Like, hopefully, we can get past all of those speed bumps and get this team back in order.
New equipment staff,
new cheerleaders, new stadium. What else they need in Las Vegas?
Also, the fact that Bowers, like the everything ran through Bowers at this point, it's going to shift over. Then you got the threat of Mendoza running. Like, I mean, finally give Genty like some. It'll be a little bit more of an element of surprise instead of, that's a Genty run up the middle.
Mendoza's just too nice to be a Vegas quarterback. This is going to be the weirdest like mix of
it's the perfect
possible.
It's the perfect alignment. It's the Christian boy going to Vegas, you know?
Right. He has church on Sundays at the Allegiant Stadium.
Joel Osteen / football. Let's go.
So we're going to go Genty. That's probably smart. Hopefully we're talking about Mendoza as one of these potentially next season. All right. Well, I already sort of jumped the gun, but it's the Los Angeles Chargers that's next up. My option is going to be Mr. Omarion Hampton. I really like what Mike McDaniel was able to do with Devon Achane. They're not exactly the same because they're way different running backs, actually. Not at all. He uses more speed, which is interesting. I actually think it bodes really well for Trey Harris of all the guys that are on this roster. I think he can see a major boost next season. I think once he gets to work with McDaniel's going to like him a lot. But I'm going to go with Hampton for now with Trey Harris as a sleeper pick.
That's interesting, man. Thank you, because as a Trey Harris stand over here, I really appreciate him.
Doesn't he feel like a Mike McDaniel guy? Like, couldn't you see?
It does, and I didn't even think about it. When you said that, I was originally like, man, I really don't have any Chargers players. Then I was like, wait, I got Herbert, I got Trey Harris. I was like, not the best ones, but I got some. Yeah, it's gonna be good for the whole team. I honestly think I don't want it. It's definitely not Herbert, but I want to at least like put him in the conversation. Like it feels like this could be Herbert's best year of his career, and he's already had some pretty good ones. I'm gonna go with Vlad McConkey personally. I think that I know that the Jarvis Landry days were pre-Mike McDaniel, but I really feel like that's what we're gonna get. Old like slot corners, dumps, just everything runs through Lad, and then the deep shots to QJ and Trey Harris, hopefully. But yeah, the only problem I have with Hampton, and I love Hampton, he's a great running back. I just believe they're going to bring someone else in, whether that's Najee Harris back for next year, which I doubt, but they wanted to have two guys in there, and Vidal looked great too. So I think there's no chance that he's just out of this backfield at this point. So I think,
or they draft another one like they did every year in Miami.
Exactly. So I'm a little worried about Hampton, but at the moment, can't really do anything about it. You gotta wrap the Hampton draft pick. So
yeah, I think it's Hampton just because he was a first round pick. I mean, that owner is not going to let someone go in there and not let Amarian Hampton play. So he's got at least 2 more years of production, probably way more.
What's interesting is killer for random young wide receivers, man. Like he killed Robodunze's rookie season, and then he killed Lads last year for the most part. Came on a little bit stronger at the end, but yeah, I
do think it says something that McDaniel got to pick his place, because I heard that he was with the Eagles potentially, is maybe going there, and he was with Tampa Bay, maybe going there, but he picked the Chargers. So it feels like if you have picked them, that you want to use the players that are on the team, like Hampton, obviously Herbert, but
can you imagine how fun that would be? You're just like, whose roster looks the best? Like, what team could I have the most fun with? Like,
what's crazy too is like the Eagles have. You don't really know what the wide receiver situation is, but like quarterback and running back, solid. Tampa Bay has like 15 million different wide receivers and Bucky. Like that's interesting. And it's like still you ended up with them, with QJ and the boys. I
think you're right about McDaniel going to Tampa as the head coach next year.
I feel like he would have just like gone there and then succeeded him, but whatever.
I guess that's
however he ends. However it works, we'll see. But I don't know. Yeah, Hampton it is. But I'm telling you, Trey Harris is going to be my guy. I'm going to be boosting a lot in these drafts, depending on how wide receiver or free agency shakes out. Next team is the Rams. Josh, who do you want on the Rams?
Puka. There would be a conversation if Corum didn't have his resurgence, or I guess really ascension. But yeah, it's Puka all day. Doesn't even matter who's out there throwing the ball to him. Stafford somehow is gone. Puka.
Carson back. Puka Nakua.
He's so fun.
Yeah, it's Puka, and for me, it's not even really close. There's just we have another Cooper Kupp situation here, and it's going to be that way for 4 or 5 years. And if you got him late in drafts or whenever you took him,
free agency.
Struck gold. Yeah, free agency. You struck gold there. All right, we can quickly move on to the next team. That is the Miami Dolphins. Joe, who do you want?
I want Devin Achane. Little worried about the coaching situation that comes in, but he's too good for them to take him off the field.
Yeah, he was bell cow when they were dead in the water in the race. So yeah, it's definitely a change. I do love Waddle. Just the conversation with him actually finally being the only one there finally looks good. But
yeah, it's Achane. However, I'm going to preface all that by saying we're going to have a new offensive coordinator. Like this was a team that was pretty tailor-made to what Mike McDaniel wanted it to be, and they would have to find a guy that's kind of mirroring what he was doing to make it hum exactly as it was. So I feel cautious about it. However, with the team as it currently stands, Achane's the best player on the team, so that's who it should be. But I don't know. We'll see going forward. Next team, Minnesota Vikings. Going to keep it simple. It's Justin Jefferson. However, this team is in trouble if they go in with J.J. McCarthy. Like, it's going to be a dumpster each year, it looks like. Or there's going to be random games. You're not going to know who's going to be a star. I don't love it. but Justin Jefferson is the best player on the team.
I want to just take a break here, and I agree it's JJ, but I do want to take a break and let's give JJ McCarthy a break. This was his rookie season. It looked absolutely terrible. It can get better. We could see better. I'm not saying it's going to, but he could be better.
He could be.
That's a
And
warm belief.
I just want to give Justin Jefferson owners, some managers, some brighter things to look at. Justin Jefferson missed the entire preseason with a hamstring injury. That was really his first time working solely with JJ McCarthy. I know he worked the year before a little bit with him, but let's give it a break and just say that they're going to get it together this offseason. They have to. There is no other option. They cannot turn back on drafting JJ McCarthy, so he's going to get right with Justin Jefferson. This offense is going to look totally different next year, so brighter days ahead. Don't be selling Justin Jefferson or trying to move from Justin Jefferson. It's not worth it.
Here's the thing, Joe. You say it's going to look completely different. It's the quarterback is the thing holding the entire team back. Like, that is what the scary part of this situation is. Like, this is literally one of the best offensive rosters. Maybe the O-line could get some work, and they need a better running back. But even though Aaron Jones was fine this whole season, so that couldn't be the only excuse. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I don't know. I feel like they're a quarterback away from being a really good team.
That's possible, but I really just think like him and Penix, for that matter, essentially playing in their rookie seasons, like, yeah, they didn't look that good. Sometimes people don't look good in their rookie season. I'm assuming he obviously learned a little bit his actual rookie season when he was injured, but at the end of the day, it was his first season playing. It probably looks a lot different, and he's got to grow into something. Like, we'll see if that's a backup quarterback, but at the moment, he's the starter of the team. He's got JJ. Let's assume they can figure something out. Safe routes or whatever it is.
Fair enough. Next team, not New York, is New England. The New England Patriots are the next team. Josh, New England Patriots.
See, heart says Drake May. Brain says Travion Henderson. Because if Travion is given a full workload, that's running back 3 material. Like, if he actually does what he's been able to do, where he can just explode on the scene. Problem is Stevenson's still there and will be next year as well.
True.
So I guess I default to Drake May, but I really want to say Travion.
I'm gonna say Travion. I love Drake May. He got you a lot of rushing touchdowns. If they get a wide receiver there, the brain and the heart say Drake May. But Travion Henderson is absolutely electric every time he touches the ball. We saw that come on at the end of the season when they started to trust him more. I think going into year 2, he will usurp Ramondre as the number 1. And yeah.
Okay. I mean, my vote would be for Drake May because I think he's one consistent wide receiver 1 away from being like a top 5 quarterback from here on. Like, I don't know who, up and coming would be on the same path as him potentially. Maybe Caleb Williams. But yeah, I think he's 1 away. But Henderson's fine option too.
I just feel like what Drake May did with that explosive run game still happening like that. I mean, obviously they had a very easy schedule as well. Like, this next year probably be a little bit more tough. And I imagine they'll be throwing a little bit more instead in clutch situations. Yeah. Have to have some fourth quarter comebacks.
Yeah, their losses are so confusing. Like, they lost to the Raiders. What's that?
Yeah, they had the easiest schedule in the NFL. It was wild.
Yeah,
literally strange. 8 of the top 10 teams in the in the NFL draft this year. The Patriots played them.
Yeah. Hey, you can only play who's in front of you. Now it's a beat up Denver Broncos team, and then the Super Bowl they'll finally face a good team. Joe, the New Orleans Saints actually present quite an interesting spot here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm with Chris Olave still. Okay. God knows what his career is, how long it's going to last, but we saw him have a really good connection with Tyler Shook. Can't say his name still to this day, but that's going to continue. And really like what I saw to Chris Olave.
Yeah, he's the clear-cut wide receiver 1, and actually is a wide receiver 1 now too. It's not just like, hey, it's the Saints, so he's the wide receiver 1 on the Saints. No, he's really good. And yeah, hopefully he can stay away from the concussions. But at the moment, he's the best player on the team.
Yeah, I wanted to try to make an argument for maybe like Devin Neal, because when he was out there, he was actually pretty good. But it's Chris Olave based on the talent they have. But
this running back room is going to change too. We're going to have a
this whole team. I mean, shoot, other than Olave and Shuck, because he's going to be a bridge guy, the rest of this team could be completely different next year. Like literally, they could be completely different. So they got a lot to do. But you know, I kind of like the bridge gap situation with Shuck. All right, we can go Olave. The next team is the Giants. Neighbors. I wanted to think about Scatterboo, but it's not going to last forever with Scatterboo. Like this year, it wasn't a head thing, but next year it very well could be. And we'll go with Neighbors. Neighbors is the best player on this team.
I disagree. It's Jackson Dart, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, the run prowess, the not giving a fuck and just going out there and throwing his body around. Him and Scatterboo together are like unstoppable force. I'm scared of the Giants next year, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Jackson Dart could be a top 5 quarterback next year, and I think that's going to be huge.
Wow. Okay. You think
NFL
Harbaugh is going to turn him into Lamar Jackson?
Well, I think he was already close. You know what I mean? He just didn't have anyone. So
already close to Lamar Jackson? What are we talking?
No, already close to a top 10 wide or quarterback.
Oh,
he was playing like it at his peak when he had players on his team. They didn't give him the start right away, which was maybe smart. I don't know.
Man, that first loss that you all took to them, that really affected you deep.
No, I knew he was good. I was sad that they got these teams. Yeah, I wanted Scatterboo on a team that I actually like, and not have to play against them every 2 times a year, because that made us scared.
Scatterboo embarrassing your D line. I won't ever get that image out of my head. So
Bears did it too, man.
It's true.
Damn right.
Damn right indeed. Well, we're still sticking with Neighbors. I love the Dart thing. I hope it goes on.
The Dart argument is interesting because he tied average points per game with Mahomes, Burrow, and Drake May. But I still think it's Neighbors.
Sounds like top 5 to me. And also, I think they go get another wide receiver.
Mahomes in a horrible year.
I just have to see Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors together, and then that'll be nice.
Fair enough. I mean, that is fair. And another wide receiver on top of that, probably too.
Yeah,
like
they're gonna get
Wandale was fun, but
yeah, I think Wandale's gone for sure. Although
I know, but I'm just saying like he was fun this year. Like
yeah, I'm just saying like I think he's gone for sure, but I don't know. The Giants have a weird habit of signing back their wide receivers forever. Sterling Shepard,
Isaiah Hodgins, maybe.
Yeah, Hodgins. Who was the guy who broke his foot a bunch of times? Forgot his name.
Oh man, Kenny Galladay.
No, Kenny Galladay. That was man, poor Kenny Galladay. No, that's not who I was talking about. He was drafted by the Giants and he played for like 6 years, but he was injured like 4 of them. I'll find it.
Fair enough. All right, we're gonna move on to the Jets. Josh, is it Garrett Wilson or do you have somebody else?
Assuming Breece Hall doesn't get signed back, I'd say it's one of those two. If we're gonna go current right now, I'm gonna go Breece Hall because I think he's not dependent on another player. This was exactly why I didn't want to draft Jamar Chase last year and drafted Bijan instead, is because he's dependent on another player. Now, Garrett Wilson still did really, really well with limited option. But at the end of the day, like, I don't like that. I don't want to have a wide receiver who's dependent on a quarterback who can't throw the ball.
Fair. Joe?
I think it's Breece Hall because there's no way Breece is coming back to the Jets. And wherever he goes, he could be a top 5 running back next year. So give me Breece Hall.
I love the way that we're tap dancing the line on the rules, but that is true. Breece Hall is technically on the team as we speak, so Breece Hall it is. Mine would have been Garrett Wilson, but I don't love it because I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. If it's Justin Fields again, that's a complete crapshoot. Who knows? All right, well, the next team is the Eagles. Josh is deep in contemplation. So, Joe, who on the Eagles is a dynasty asset, top dynasty asset?
Am I allowed to answer this one?
You are.
Damn.
What are you thinking?
Man, I don't know. I think it's Shit. Who did I put for this one? I made a list here. I can't even remember.
Jacking it twice.
Tank Bigsby is who I have as my top dynasty asset on this team.
Honestly, though, I know that's not your real answer, right?
No, but
Okay.
that's where my brain wants to go.
I love that.
I wanted to go AJ, and then I was like, nah, I want to go Saquon. I'm like, nah, and then I wanted to go Hurts. Nah. I think it's Jalen Hurts, though, to be completely honest with you, because I think with the way this team's set up and his rushing, he's going to fall in the end zone a million times, no matter what. So I like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's funny. They did not do the tush push like at all this year. And it wasn't because it wasn't working. I think they had a theory that if they don't do the tush push, and other teams do, then they'll not vote on it next year. I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But by the way, I want to bring you back to the Giants wide receiver that I was talking about, Corey Coleman. Remember him?
Oh,
He got
yeah,
injured
Corey
like
Coleman.
3 times and just like never had a good season. 789 yards in his career. All right, sorry. Eagles player, in my opinion, is Jalen Hurts. I want to say Saquon because I have a feeling Saquon's going to have a huge year next year. Now that we're not the champs, they don't have to deal with that whole thing. Offensive coordinator.
No Madden cover.
Yeah, no Madden cover, no 300 touches, 2,000 yard curses. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to scheme and not running the exact same looks every single run. There's going to be different plays for him. I think he'll get more in the passing game. I will say that, like, as a joke, I know you said it as Tank Bigsby, but like, could be the answer in a weird way because Tank could be the future for the Eagles or a team in general and be somewhere. But no, I think it's Jalen Hurts personally. With or without AJ, he can still go out there and ball. I know the whole design run things was something that people kept saying, but I don't want him to do design runs. I don't know if people remember, but the design runs were terrifying for Jalen. They would do options and he would always get hit in the legs. I don't want him doing design runs. I want him to scramble and be able to run if he needs to. Keep the line back, to where he can still go run or throw if need be. But yeah, Jalen. Cool threat. I know there's a lot of hate on him.
Are you worried at all about no Lane Johnson on this team?
100%. That was the reason they lost.
It's coming. I know.
When I saw him
like
out, I was so
really
mad
stinks.
They said he was coming back. He was practicing for like 3 weeks before that, and they were holding him out. And then he just didn't play in that game. And it felt like the playoffs 2 years ago where AJ didn't play, and it was like, what? I don't care how healthy you are. Get out there and go play the last game of the season. Like, I'm sorry. He had like 6 weeks, 8 weeks to recover from his injury. Like, it's wild to me. I understand. Like, you can pay millions of dollars, though. Like, tough it out. If you can't do it, go sit on the bench.
Okay. My vote was going to be for Devonta Smith based on AJ not being there, but Hurts it is. Next team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a nightmare to try to figure out what they're going to do with this football team. I don't actually know who all's still going to be here. They have a new coach for the first time in 19 years. So none of the wide receivers. I mean, DK is probably the best wide receiver on the team. He might be the best player on the team, but I don't think he's going to be here. So I guess it's Jalen Warren, but I don't love that.
You say you don't think DK Metcalf's going to be there?
I think they're going to clean this thing completely out.
I think
that involves DK.
Again, he just signed that off in the offseason. Like, you got at least one more year at DK. I don't love it, but it's DK.
I mean, dynasty-wise, I guess with him being sent to a different team after this season, then maybe that's the play.
I think DK Metcalf is exactly what he has been. 1,000-yard receiver, best working with another one, i.e. Tyler Lockett for all those years. Yeah, it didn't work this year because they had no one else to throw the ball to. Who could have saw that coming?
I don't know.
guess it's DK.
I don't know.
It's not
I like
sexy,
the DK. Sorry, I like the DK take. Jalen Warren, I think, was Mike Tomlin's guy, so I could totally see another running back coming in here. I'm going to throw one out of left field and say Pat Freiermuth, because before Arthur Smith got there, he had 2 top 12 tight end seasons. He had an off season when they didn't have a quarterback, and then we had Arthur Smith, who got Jonnu Smith in there using Darnell Washington for no reason. Pat Freiermuth is extremely talented and still only 27. I think we could get a couple more years left of him.
Okay. It's probably DK, but
I don't think it's great, but like I think it's the best option you got here.
I think you're right. I did not see that they didn't do the voided guarantees with DK because of that fan incident. Like, I knew that voided his guarantees. I thought they just did that. I thought they just took that and like, well, I don't have to pay him that much. But apparently they kept him intact. I did not know that part. So then, yeah, he's probably staying there for sure.
I didn't know they could do that. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, because of those 2 games, it voided like $45 million or something in guaranteed money if they chose to exercise it. I just assume they did because they're going to tear this thing down to the studs. Why would you want to keep that money on the books? But they didn't. So good on them.
But that would have just been the end of DK Metcalf in Pittsburgh. Which,
yeah, well,
you're making that
I don't think TJ Watt's going to be there next year. This wide receiver core is going to get completely gutted. Not going to have a quarterback. Like I don't know.
It's going to be really dark times for the Steelers. But honestly, and I don't know if this was ownership or Tomlin, they should have done this 2 years before Ben Roethlisberger retired. Like they could have been a playoff caliber team by now. They could have restarted, got an actual draft pick to draft a quarterback, like build up a team around them. But instead, they kept piecemealing it year by year, and it was amazing what Tomlin did with the team. Honestly, I'm assuming it was ownership just not wanting to be a losing team.
Well, Tomlin just doesn't have losing in his bones. He just doesn't. He just can't lose it on purpose, at least. He just can't do it. But I think they're going to rip this thing down and, like Joe's condo, just completely redo the whole thing. So
that was a good little reference. Yeah, this is a
thanks, man.
This is whoever they hire as coordinators and coaches. It's all like just interim deals. Like they don't want anyone to go out and win. Like at the end of the day, you got to just get the next draft pick to get your Arch Manning or whoever quarterback from the next draft.
For sure, 2027 draft. There's going to be some tanking for whoever on that one. Next team. San Francisco 49ers, Josh. This is an interesting one as well, challenge-wise.
I don't think it is. I don't think there's even an option. It's Christian McCaffrey. And it's not even – I don't give a fuck about age. If he is on your team, you have a chance to win the championship. I watched him win many championships in leagues that I was in. I did not have.
I just can't do it. We're due for another one from him.
I'm sure he has had an up and down trajectory, but at the end of the day – Pearsall never really made a connection with – I know he was injured and on and off. Never made a connection with Purdy. Purdy's fine as a quarterback, but, like, you're not stoked about rolling in as your QB1 in Dynasty. And then what else does that even leave? Like, Jawan Jennings.
I hear you, and I think that you're right talent-wise. The problem is if you're building a Dynasty team and, like, say we're just drafting, I feel like taking Christian McCaffrey puts you in the win now category – and you have to draft like that, or you have to be like in that mode, because if you are like mid-tier to the bottom of the barrel, Christian McCaffrey is not something you want on your team because he's not going to win.
If I didn't even think about this from a startup perspective, but if CMC still gets drafted in the first round, I imagine, and you just build young guys around that. That's when you go get the Tets, the young.
That's true. I mean, yeah.
Like even at the end of the day, like that's just what you got to do. Veterans got to get drafted too. I know it'll be all rookie. Jetty would be like the 3rd pick or something, or even higher. Like I get it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, McCaffrey's got to get drafted, and I want him on my team, and I can just build young around that. You can do a dynasty startup soon.
I don't hate it. We're actually doing one on the podcast here coming up. Glad that you mentioned it.
Cool.
Hell yeah. I think it's Purdy, but I'm gonna say Brandon Ayuk because he's still technically on the team, and I'm voiding
Brandon Ayuk.
Yes, because Brandon Ayuk will be playing somewhere next year.
That's who it was, by the way. He came out and said he wanted to play with DK Metcalf, George Pickens, or AJ Brown. By the way, so interesting little tidbit there. Don't know how AJ Brown and Ayuk are going to end up on the same team, possibly, but. Be curious
Patriots?
To see.
Be the only team that could
afford they can sign him.
Both? Is Ayuk a free agent though, or is this?
There's no way they
contract. So
I heard that, but then he still has the contract right now, so that's what I'm confused about. Like,
Patriots have enough money to do this. It's just a matter if they want to bring that into the building. Or
That
not.
would be crazy if they win a Super Bowl and then go get AJ Brown and Ayuk.
Yeah, that would be nuts. Okay, I guess we'll go CMC. I don't really like any of these options, to be honest.
Kittle's cool, but like he's
Purdy maybe,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't see enough out of him. Okay, Joe, this one just got a lot more interesting. Well, it didn't. Seattle, Joe. Who are you taking?
It's JSN. I mean, there's arguments to be made that he is the number one dynasty asset right now.
That's true.
100%.
I more was like, man,
I get
lone
where you're
Charbonnet
going.
does make
Yeah.
interesting topic, but it's JSN. He's the number one wide receiver. It's not really that hard.
I
to
do
talk
think
about.
JSN takes a hit next year because they got to bring another wide receiver in here, and I assume it'll be in the draft, so it'll be a young guy. So if they hit on that pick, I think JSN's value goes down a bit. I mean, he's still going to be elite, but I don't think we're wide receiver one at the end of the day.
Is it weird that I think they could trade up for Jeremiah Love, and I think that'd make this team interesting?
That'd be crazy.
I think they're going to take a running back
It
in this
would be a
draft.
huge trade up.
It would be
Yeah.
a huge trade up, but you might only have to get to like 14, 15.
They could get a running back at 31 or 32, wherever they end up at.
That's true. I mean, shoot, they did Charbonnet in the third round. They might do that again as well and just kick that can down the road. Okay, next team is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm taking Bucky. I would love to take one of these wide receivers, thinking like a Buka or somebody, but like I think the way that Baker spreads the ball out, it's too hard to like prognosticate exactly which one it's going to be after Evans, Godwin. But I think they're both going to be on the team next year, so I think it's going to be tough to figure out who they're taking. So I'm taking Bucky because I know what he is.
I love Bucky. I just wish they would give him at least the majority of a two-person workload instead of the majority
We got
of
a new
three-person.
OC incoming, so we might have our wish.
Hope that's the
Fired
case.
him because he was bad.
Bucky makes the most sense, but I think Ibuka is very up there as an option because Godwin, Evans aren't going to be around forever, and it does appear that he's better than McMillan. McMillan's more of a touchdown. I feel like literally they just
like,
got
even
their
like
Mike
Tez
Evans.
Johnson's a dude. Even like Tez Johnson's a dude on this team, though.
Yeah, it's fair. I just feel like literally they went from Mike Evans to Chris Godwin to Jalen McMillan to Egbika Ibuka, and it's like it's the same thing. Like it's, I mean, slightly different, but Ibuka's the Godwin and McMillan's the Mike Evans. But I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's probably Bucky. I'd love to see it without Sean Tucker and Rashad nipping at their heels, which is probably going to happen next year. So,
Joe?
It'll be cool. I think I don't know. I think Ibuka is interesting because I want to hear what happened. I don't know when he hurt his hamstring in I think it was like week 8 or whatever when he was on his monster tear. He hurt his hamstring, and then they said he was going to go on IR, and then they came back out and said no, he's playing this next week. So I think Ibuka had a really bad injury that he just chose to play through, and I think that he will be back to kind of what we saw earlier in the year next year, especially with Mike Evans likely not being on this team next year. I would say Ibuka.
Okay, there you have it. Ibuka, then it is. Josh, Tennessee Titans.
I don't want to.
What do you think?
I guess kind of by default, it's no one. No, I'm just kidding. I guess it's Cam Ward. I mean, the hope is that there's something here and that they build a team around him. Iomanor and DK are fun, but like I don't think they're the answer at wide receiver 1 for this team. There's going to be someone who comes in later to be that guy. I think they'll still have their roles and they'll be fun, but fantasy wise, I'm not like stoked. It's like more of a shot in the dark. Hopefully it hits. But yeah, I think Cam Ward, they got to build a team around him. They got to see what they got here. This is what they did with Trevor Lawrence this year. And it's like, obviously they already paid him, which made no sense to see if he was something. Fortunately, it turned out he was actually good, or at least good enough. But Cam Ward needs an offense around him, offensive line, some help, and then let's see what we got here. It's an intriguing prospect to have on our roster.
Yeah, I like Cam Ward. I think I'm going to vote Ridley just because he does have 3 years remaining on this contract. So they're kind of stuck with Calvin Ridley. So we know what he can be. If he is still that guy, we don't know. But Not a bad guy to go try to acquire.
Fair enough. I was going to suggest DK as mine, but I think Cam Ward's probably the answer here, thinking that they're probably going to bring someone else in maybe to kind of spice it up. But I don't know. I kind of like DK. He really got, I don't know. He really got my attention this season.
He looked really good. Not going to fight you.
I want to see him with like 10 targets in a game. Like, what would that look like? That could be amazing.
That's, I mean, all true there. I just feel like, man, if you're coming in here to work with this team, I feel like DK could be a dude. All right. Joe, wrap us up in Washington.
Show me Jaden Daniels. That's the only answer.
My brain didn't even go there. I still say Terry McLaurin.
Okay.
I mean, he is a great wide receiver, and he played with Marcus Mariota for most of the year. So we know what he can be, especially with Jaden Daniels too. So sure, there will probably be another wide receiver here. Debo was fun, but I think Terry McLaurin is just a great wide receiver. But I'm worried about Jaden Daniels. I'm worried that we saw the best that he had. And I hope that that's not true because he's super fun and the NFC East is going to be super competitive for the next couple of years. But there's a chance Jaden Daniels, sounds terrible to say, got lucky his rookie year.
I don't know. I think you might be right. I would vote for Jaden Daniels too, hoping that like now that Cliff Kingsbury's moved on, that maybe we can get somebody else in there that can unlock exactly the potential this needs to be. But it did look different this year than it did the year before. And maybe we did catch lightning in a bottle for 1 year. I hope it's more like Lamar Jackson than it is 1 year of the special Jaden Daniels year. So that would suck if that was the case.
I hope it's not as well, just for parity in the league and division itself. So, because he can be fun. This team also didn't do any favors by just getting Debo and not having a running back. So
that's true. I'm actually surprised Bill had like the fourth most rushing yards among rookies. Like I just feel like I don't remember him doing anything at all for most of the season, and so I kind of just wrote him off.
I started him in our Dynasty League that we're in and a lot because it was a tough year. And man, when you started him, it was scary to watch, dude. You got 6 points or 11 points, and then sometimes 12. And you were like, all right, I got 12 points.
That's funny.
He just played the
right.
Lakers. The only reason he got those stats to be that high.
I think you're right about that. Most people don't get 17 weeks to figure it out, and he did get 17 weeks to figure it out. But they brought that upon themselves. Like, you went into the season with Austin Eckler, you traded away Brian Robinson for nothing, and then you relied on a 7th-round rookie.
The saddest part is Eckler looked good, like, for his age at the end of the day.
Right. It was just, unfortunate, the whole thing around. All right, that wraps it up. That is officially the best dynasty option on all 32 teams. Shockingly, we only had one team where all three of us couldn't agree on a player. That is rare, folks. If you go back and watch our previous episodes when we did this, sometimes we will all have a different answer, and we have to just put the split down on all of them. But we only did it one time, so that's actually pretty cool. Maybe we're getting better at this, or we're just, there's not as many good players on every team or on any one team. So, next week, we have a Dynasty 2-round startup that we're going to do. We might make it 3. We'll kind of see how the time goes. I love doing 2 because that kind of keeps us on a certain pace. Because if we try to do 3, by that 3rd round, we're like, yeah, blank. Oh, yeah, blank. Oh, I think I like blank. And then we just kind of speed through it. 2 rounds, we can for sure talk about every single player and why we would draft him there. So I think that's the direction we're going to go.
It'll be fun to see how our 2 to 3 rounds of our teams look.
Yeah.
That team's going to be sad.
I don't know how we're going to do it just yet. We might do every other or something. I don't know. Or maybe we all agree on one. I don't know. We'll talk about
we cannot all agree on one. That will take forever. We'll never get out of here alive.
I said 2 rounds. I'm just kidding. Maybe we'll do a 3-man weave to get.
I think that's what we do. Just kind of go around in a circle.
I think you're right about that.
It's a
Okay.
circle.
That's all we got for this week. Joe, get us out of here.
Good night.